You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Great guest today on the show, Ryan Tejas. No, Ryan's here though.
Oh,
I mean, you'd be a great guest too.
one day.
No, you'd be a great guest. I don't think enough people would listen.
I'm not a big draw.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet.
But you will. You're a big draw to me.
Thank you.
And to our Inside of You online
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah.
You know. But Tyler Hoechlin is here.
Oh, yeah. He's way more famous.
He's a famous guy. But more importantly, he's really nice and smart and opens up. And it took a lot to get him here. You know, he was on that show for a long time, Superman and Lois.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot on his plate.
Yep.
And he finally came around, and it was everything I wanted. We had a great time together, and I think you're going to get some really great insight with him. A few things, if you're listening for Tyler and you don't know who the hell I am, I was Lex Luthor on Smallville, if that helps, because if you're listening, maybe you're a Superman fan, maybe. Listen, all I'm asking is give this podcast a chance and subscribe and listen. I think you'll really enjoy it. We discuss mental health and a lot of stuff about facing adversity in the industry and in life, more importantly. So stick around. Follow us. Write a review, if you will. That would be great. If you want to go to my Instagram, @the_Michael_Rosenbaum, and follow me, and the link tree there, you can find my cameo. You can find the conventions I'm going to, Smallville Nights I do with Tom Welling. All that stuff's there. The Inside of You online shop with tons of scripts autographed and everything genuinely autographed by me because we send it out. So check that out and much more. And also, Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath is still out there. It's on Amazon. If your dog's breath smells like ass, put a capful in your dog's water. It's odorless, tasteless. Or the last time I said it, taterless. But it's tasteless, and your dog won't even know, and your dog's breath will get better. And I give it to my dogs every day. Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath on Amazon. And The Talented Farter is still on Amazon if you want to get my fart sound book. And without further ado, we have so much to talk about with Tyler, so we should just get into it. Yeah, we talk about everything. Let's get inside of Tyler Hoechlin.
It's my point of view. You're listening to Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum was not recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Now, you were just saying that you wanted to have a setup, sort of something like my place.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, what are you looking for? What's your goal?
I've moved so much in the last however many years. Like, I haven't had like an actual stable spot.
How could you?
Between like taking things with me, moving them around, wanting them in one place, and then like, I want them with me in Vancouver and all that. It's constantly a moving target to like have a setup.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so I'm not going to be here for 9 months. Okay. Well, I guess I should rent this place out. So now I got to take my stuff out. So it's just.
You did rent it out?
Yeah. At one point when I was in Vancouver, I had the house rented out.
But you had no furniture in there, or you did?
At that time, I didn't. Well, I had the house complete. Like, it is one of those things. So I tend to try to squeeze way too much into a very small window. And so when we were shooting second season, there was an episode where Superman disappeared for like the episode. There was like one scene in the beginning, and then it was like, where is he? What's happened to him? So I was going to come down to LA for a couple days, which I did. And then all of a sudden they were like, hey, Bitsy got COVID. So there was nothing to shoot because I had already shot my scenes, like 2 or 3 scenes for that episode.
So you thought you had the week off?
No, I did. And then they go, so we're basically shutting down. Now you have like 2 weeks off. And I was like, oh. So I went from having like a couple days to like 2 full weeks. I was like, oh my God. And my buddy who had been living at my place, who I just like kind of let move in there, he was moving out to get a new spot. So I was like, well, wait, can I in 10 days empty out this entire house? Because I found a company that would manage it, but they only did unfurnished. And so again, I tried to race to a decision to get it done and make it happen. So instead of exploring every single option, which is what I like to do, I just explored the options I had the time to, and this company seemed like the best. And they're like, we only do unfurnished. So I think it ended up being like in 6 days.
So you didn't have a vacation. You emptied your house out.
No. I spent 6 days. I 2 days I didn't sleep. I just like went straight through the night. I think my last night there was the Saturday before Super Bowl. I literally did not sleep the whole night. I had I had some people helping me. Saturday, they went to bed. I stayed up all the way until they woke up. And then they helped me a little bit more. They left. And then eventually I just went straight to the flight and flew back to Vancouver and then like shot the next day. So
you have a propensity for not going to bed at a reasonable hour.
Yes.
And you're not really a partier.
No,
you're just like a night owl.
I'm a night owl. I for whatever reason, like ever since I was young, I have this weird thing of like everybody else is sleeping and I'm getting stuff done. It's like they quit and I'm still going. It's like this stupid thing. So it's like it doesn't matter if it's out with friends for a night and everybody's like, for me, I'm like, I'll pull an all-nighter whenever. I'm like, if we're having fun, let's keep going. Let's have a good time. So it's that, or if it's like I got to do this so that I don't have jet lag the next day. Like I'll stay up until like an 11 a.m. flight the next day just so that I can sleep and wake up on time where I'm going.
And it works for you.
I haven't had jet lag in 12 years.
That sounds like I'm getting anxiety thinking about doing that. Like I can't, like I am, I guess I used to stay up till like 12, 1, 2.
Yeah.
At the most.
Yeah.
But now it's like when it hits 10, my body just is like ready to go.
That's when I wake up. But I get the weirdest second wind around 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, what do I need to get done today?
But what do you do when you're filming? When you're the lead on a series, Superman and Lois, and you're like, obviously can't do that.
I shot a movie once where my call, I think I got picked up at like 5:30 in the morning every day. I think I got about 3 hours of sleep a night on that shoot.
How old were you?
30, 31.
And you didn't look like shit?
I feel like shit in the morning when I wake up for the first like 20 minutes and then I have a coffee and then about 30, 40 minutes in, I'm like, all right, here we go. And then during the day, like at a certain point in the middle of the day, like probably like hour 9 or 10 of the day, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get some good sleep tonight. Like I'm going to go home. I'm going to go to sleep early. And I would get home and my brother was with me on that shoot. Actually, he came out as my stand-in. So he was with me in New Orleans for 6 weeks. It was awesome.
What movie was that?
A movie called The Domestics with Kate Bosworth. And it was really fun. It was a fun shoot. We were in New Orleans for 6-7 weeks.
But you didn't sleep much.
No, so because I get home and then I could sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to put on Sports Center. Like my brother and I would sit there and watch Sports Center or watch a game until about like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then Sports Center would come on. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, all right, I should go to bed soon. And then 10:30, I'm like, God, here's my second win. And I'd be up for 2-3 hours and I go to bed at like 2 a.m. Wake up at 5.
That sounds so stressful. So like on Superman, Lois, Teen Wolf, all these other things, were you more disciplined in terms of like you're probably wiped out and you tried to get to bed because you knew you had an early call? Or no?
The only time I try to like if I know I have an early call, I try to go to bed early. But half the time what ends up happening is I sit there and I lay in bed for 2 hours.
What do you think about?
Anything, everything.
Does your mind constantly run?
Yeah, it's hard for me to shut it down. It's hard.
Did they ever say you have attention deficit disorder or like OCD or anything like that?
No,
nothing like that.
Sure, no, I've never really looked into it. And I was like, yeah, I just, when I get tired, when I finally get tired, I get tired. Yeah. My thing is always this. I think coming from sports where it's like your coach is like, I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear explanations. I just want you to get the job done.
Right.
Like that's what I grew up with. So for me, it's like when I'm on set and I'm like, if I'm tired, I'm like, okay, boo-hoo, you're tired. Like my dad's an ER doctor. He works 24-hour shifts, 36-hour shifts sometimes. So I'm like, anytime I'm on set where they're like, hey man, like you okay? I'm like, my dad's on hour 19 of his shift. Like, I'm fine. Like,
now, see,
so it's like, it's a little bit of that thing. I just don't make the excuse. I'm like, I'm tired. Great.
Okay,
you're tired. Figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Everyone feels sorry for me and fix it. Like, no, just get through it.
Well, what I'm thinking now is that your dad had a big influence on you growing up.
Yeah.
And so his work ethic and all that stuff really stuck with you.
Yeah. Him and my older brother, big time. I always had a big thing of like, it's fine if someone's better than you at something, but don't ever let anyone outwork you.
So your work ethic is intense.
Yeah.
With everything?
Yeah.
You don't wing it? You don't wake up and learn your lines?
I do what I know is most effective for me. So there are times where overstudying, like on TV, right? Because like TV and film's different. Film, you get the whole script, you know everything. Episodes are coming out with TV. So like it's constantly like some days you have 12 days of prep for a scene, and some days you get the script the night before and you have a couple hours.
Right.
So it just depends. It depends on the workload. If I was literally every single scene start to finish the day before, then yeah, maybe there's a scene or two the next day that like I know it, I'm aware of what the scene is, but I haven't memorized the lines yet. And then lucky for me, I've been doing this since I was 8. So
photographic memory.
I don't know if it's photographic, but I memorize lines like that. Like
that easily.
Yeah, which
if
I know
you had
our
an
friend
audition at 3:00 today and they gave you 3 pages, would you have it memorized?
Easy. Yeah, easy.
But it just pisses me off.
I know. Because I work with amazing actors who are just like, just memorizing lines is not my thing. And
it scares me. It's like, fuck, like I think what happens is when you start doing a role and then you start to get used to the role and you know what the character is, they come to you faster, muscle memory.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
Inside of You is brought to you by Rocket Money. If you don't know about Rocket Money, Ryan, I mean, how many times do I have to tell people about Rocket Money? I love that you're saving money with Rocket Money.
Weekly, we got to tell these people.
Yeah, Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It is so important. There's so many subscriptions, so many things to buy. And sometimes you get free things or a free month of something and you forget about it. We all do. We're human. And then we forget that we're spending $14.99 a month and it adds up and we're losing money. With Rocket Money, you don't have to worry about that anymore. See all of your subscriptions in one place. Know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them.
Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. They automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They'll deal with the customer service so you don't have to.
Yeah, Rocket Money has over 5 million viewers and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions. That is extraordinary. Saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. These guys are the real deal. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/inside today. That's rocketmoney.com/inside. rocketmoney.com/inside. Inside of You is brought to you by Shopify. We love Shopify. If you're growing a business, small, medium, large, the little 3 bears, the porridge thing. If you're growing a business, you have to have Shopify. I've been using Shopify for years and years, and they are amazing. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. I have Shopify for both podcasts, Inside of You and Talkville, and selling products is important because it's visibility, for your business. And the products that I sell, it's so easy to navigate on Shopify. I just add a picture. I take a picture of a product. I take them all and I upload it and I do a description. This is a brand new tumbler. Beautiful. Say what you want. I weigh it. It's 8 ounces. These little scales are like a couple bucks on, you can get them anywhere. And you say how many products you have, how many of this item. Mm-hmm. You could check the analytics, like how well you're doing each month. What product isn't selling well? How well did you do last year? It's so easy to navigate and it's fun and the shipping is so easy. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style.
Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography.
Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling.
And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond.
If you're ready to sell, you're ready for Shopify. Turn your big business into cha-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your 1-month, $1 per month trial period and start selling today at shopify.com/inside. Go to shopify.com/inside. That's shopify.com/inside. So when you're first doing Superman and Lois, say,
right.
Did you think you prepped more than you would have for the first few episodes than normal, or kind of the same thing? Like I got this.
I'll be honest with you. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know why this role never scared me. And I know you're supposed to take the roles that scare you and they're the thing. It never did. And I know it probably should have, but it just didn't. I've felt super connected to the guy the whole time.
Because you were Superman and Supergirl.
Yeah.
Right?
And even in that,
you're right.
even in that, it was like, people were like, was it intimidating? I was like, I honestly never thought about it. I just like.
Never thought about it.
No, because I didn't grow up with the character. I know, obviously everybody knows who Superman is, but I didn't grow up with that character. It wasn't Batman I more grew up with. Indiana Jones I more grew up with. Like those were characters that I was way more aware of. I was just aware of Superman as Superman. So for me, it was always like, once I talked to Berlanti about, how do you see the character? I was like, well, I mean, I think this about him. This is kind of a thing that I think is like a core of who he is, and And we just kind of talked about the guy. And then that was it. There was no audition. I literally just went in for a general meeting with Greg. And
not knowing you were going to get the role.
Not even knowing what the meeting was for. It was just a general meeting. And
so what do you think about the idea of you playing Superman?
The first 30 minutes, we just talked. We were just talking about life, talking about work, talking about whatever. And then like halfway through, he's like, so we're going to bring Superman onto Supergirl for a couple episodes. Like, what would you think about that? And I was like, would I be interested? He's like, yeah. I was like, sure, let's talk about it. And so we just kind of talked about the character. And then I left the meeting, and I forget how long later, like maybe like a week or two later, my manager called and was like, hey, like they're offering it to you if you want it. And I was like, okay.
And was it just for one episode?
2 episodes.
That was it.
2 episodes. It was
so
a 2-episode job.
2 episodes on Supergirl, and you're probably done playing Superman.
Yeah. No, I was literally like, you know what? It'd be cool. I'll check it off the list. I did it. I played a superhero. 2 episodes. And then, because I had just come off Teen Wolf, I wasn't looking to do anything like full time. So it was perfect. I was like, 2 episodes, great. Something cool, something fun. Have some photos.
Yeah.
Like show my kids one day.
I played Superman for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So you had no
8 years later. Yeah.
And when did you know that you were going to be Superman for like the lead?
So I went in, I'm trying to think. So I did the first 2 episodes. Then I did 2 episodes at the end of that season. And then at one point I went and met with Greg again, and he was like, hey, would you want to come back and do the character on the crossovers? And I was like, yeah, I had a blast. Like, I love working with Alyssa. I love working with the Graham.
Are they paying you well, or just guest star?
Yeah.
Whatever.
CW.
CW money.
Yeah. My dad's a doctor. I'm doing fine. Like, I got no complaints. But in the world of TV money, like, yeah, whatever. It's fine.
And it just kept happening.
So this was the next meeting. The next meeting I had with Greg was, do you want to do the crossovers? And I was like, that sounds fun. Yeah, I'd love to go work with everybody again. I had a great time. So it was 3 episodes. And he goes, okay, cool. He's like, well, they're telling me it's the last time that I can use you as the character. And I was like, okay, great. I was like, dude, it was supposed to be 2 episodes. This will be 7 now. Like, yeah,
great.
Awesome.
Winning.
Great. He's like, I might even kill you. I'm like, do what you got to do. Great. Sounds great. So that was the conversation going into Elseworlds. So we do Elseworlds. I finish up there. And at this point now, it's been like, I want to say maybe it's coming up on a couple years, like post Teen Wolf. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I've had fun. I've done a couple of films. I've bounced around a little bit. I was like, I want to build a community. I want to know the people I go to work with all the time, and I want to have a bit of like a base. And so I reached out to Greg. I sent him an email, and I was like, hey man, like, look, my life's changed a little bit since the last time we sat down. I'm looking for something a little bit more consistent. If you're open to something, I'd love to come in and talk to you about doing something together. It's a bit
nothing
more
in particular.
long-term. Yeah, no, nothing. Because for me, Superman's done.
Superman's done.
They've told him it's the last time you can use the character on the shows. Great. So he's like, I'd love that. Come in. So we sit and we have a meeting and we talk. And at one point he's like, look, I think I can get Superman to happen, but I need to know you're on board before I start making those calls, because I'm going to have to convince some people to do it. And I was like, okay. So we talked about what it would look like and how it would be different and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, all right. I was like, hey, you know what? If it looks like that, I'm down. I'm in. And so we left. Like, I was walking out the door and I heard him say to his assistant, he's like, get Peter Roth on the phone. And I was like, oh.
You heard him say that?
Yeah. I was like, oh, like now. That's crazy. And then it was like a few months of things turning over. And then eventually it became this thing of like, yeah, this is real. We want to do this. And I was like, all right, great. Awesome.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy how shit happens.
Crazy.
Crazy. I think about, your relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
And you kind of, you're like, I could see so much respect towards what he does. And this, was there ever a time, was he sort of unconditional love? I'm proud of you. This gave you everything you needed. Or when you got into the acting world and you really said, this is going to be my career, did he sort of like, hey, you know, why don't you get a real job? Like, you know, like maybe my dad did.
Never.
Never.
My parents never wanted me to have a real job. Ever. They supported me as a baseball player and an actor. Like two of the most unlikely professions. Wow. And they were like, go get it. Go get it.
But like even when you were young, when you were a kid, you did commercials.
Yeah,
Because how did that happen?
When I was a baby, apparently I did commercials. That's how this whole thing kind of happened. Was my parents had me doing commercials as a baby. I found out about it somehow when I was like 7, and I had asked them. I was like, "Oh, like did I get like paid for that?" Because like I'm 7, I'm getting allowance.
I want the money.
I'm getting some money. Yeah. I'm like, I got baseball cards. Okay. So I was like, "Did I get paid for that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, that'd be kind of cool. Like, I could do commercials and get money, and then I could buy my own video games and baseball cards whenever I wanted. I don't have to wait for my allowance. That'd be kind of cool. So just like a little side thing. And then randomly, there was this place called Beverly Hills Actors Studio. There was kind of just one of those like mass like studio schools in LA. Just bringing in a bunch of kids. And you're in
Corona at this point.
I'm in Corona.
Right.
I'm in Norco at this point. It's not even Corona yet. So we're in Norco, North Corona. Shout out to Horsetown, USA. And so we get this letter in the mail for this audition for this Beverly Hills Actors Studio. They're holding auditions at the Ontario Convention Center. And it was on a weekend that I had a baseball tournament out in Moreno Valley. So we think nothing of it. We're like, we can't go. It's fine. So we're driving out, and this is like early days of cell phones, like the big chunk ones in the middle, like center console of the car kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we're driving out to this tournament, and my parents get a call on the phone that it's from my coach saying like, "Hey, freak rainstorm came through here. Like, there's no games. The fields are flooded." So, and by the way, I played in Moreno Valley my entire childhood until I was 18, like through high school.
Never happened.
Maybe three times that I have rain out in Moreno Valley.
It's an omen.
This is weird. It's super weird. So we're like, all right, well, what do we do today? Like, we can go to that audition for that acting thing. So we go to Ontario Convention Center, and they had like a couple young actors who had done a few things come up and talk about their experience. And then they had people, different age groups have different auditions come up on stage. And like mine, I can't believe I still remember this. Mine was like the music, the action, the Lion King. Like, that was my first thing I ever read, like as an audition. Wow. I think at 8 years old. And so my brother and I went and talked to these people. They're like, "Hey, look, they don't have stage fright. They seem like they could, maybe do something." My parents at that time were like putting us into homeschool because my older brother and sister were in college, and we go watch my brother play college ball. So we were missing class, and they're like, "All right, we'll homeschool." So they're like, "Okay, this is one more social thing they can do on top of, playing ball and stuff. They're not in class. So let's do it." And so we did. We signed up for that. I did classes there for like 6 months. That school got me an audition with an agent. I got with that agent, and then
Did you feel like you were good? Did you feel like you were getting some response from the faculty or whatever? Like, hey, you got something here.
I don't know if I necessarily ever felt like any kind of like special acknowledgement, but I felt comfortable. Like I felt comfortable in it. I was having fun. I wasn't doing what I do all the time in my life now, which I've gotten at least a little bit better at, which is overthinking everything. I was just doing it. I was having fun. And so it felt easy. And then like my 5th audition was for this Disney sing-along video that they had. Like, it wasn't just
Haunting.
Happy Haunts.
Happy Haunts.
It wasn't like just song and dance. Like they had like little like skits in between. There's like little scenes in between that linked the performances. And so, but like we had to go in and sing a song. I'll never forget this.
You sing?
No. Look, if you put me on karaoke, am I gonna be the worst person in the room? No. But like, am I gonna go be the lead of Bohemian Rhapsody? Like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
You're probably one of those guys that have perfect pitch.
I have no idea. Probably not.
No,
probably not. So I auditioned for the Fame remake at one point, and this is a side note, but long story short, I said no like 20 times. Like they kept calling. I think it was Deb Aquila and Trisha Wood that were casting, and I knew them and they were great and I loved them. And so they had called multiple times, like, will he come in? And I was like, guys, I don't sing. And so it's like 5 or 6 times we said no. And they finally called my agent, like, will he please just come in? I was like, I will come in if you explicitly remind them that I said I don't sing.
They know. They know you can't
it's
sing.
Fine. They said it's okay. I was like, because it said it's a requirement. They're like, it's fine, just come in.
All right.
So I go in, I do this Jason Mraz song, and then
what song?
I'm Yours. And I closed my eyes. Okay.
How does that go again? I'm yours.
I'm going to tell part of this story. So I got a ride to the audition. I had taken 5 whiskey pulls. It's the only time I ever did this. Ever.
Really? You were that
I was
nervous?
so nervous to go sing personally. I took like 5 whiskey pulls right before I went, did the scene, sang, and got home. And I was just like sat home for the rest of the day. But I closed my eyes. I closed my eyes for the whole thing. And I opened my eyes at the end. She's like, you can sing. I don't know why you didn't come in earlier. And I was like, had no idea. Had absolutely no idea. And so they put me with a singing coach before I go read for the director. I took myself back to this coach like 3 or 4 times before I went and did the read, sang. The director's like, great. And then I left and he's like, oh, he's fantastic, but he's too old for the part. I was like,
oh God.
Because they literally said, if he can sing, it's his. And I was like, okay. So anyway, so no, I'm not a singer, but for this audition for Happy Haunts, you had to sing something.
Right.
And there's one younger guy had already been cast as one of the roles, and me and the girls were auditioning for 2 different parts. And so I go in and I went to sing my song, which was going to be Turn On Your Love Light by the Blues Brothers 2000.
Oh my God.
And I went to sing it and I just totally lost it. And the kid who had already been cast is like, sing Itsy Bitsy Spider. Just sing Itsy Bitsy Spider. I was like, no, I got this. They're like, do you want us to come back to you? Like totally thinking like, okay, this kid's not going to be the guy because he can't even. I was like, yeah, just go to her and I'll get it. I'll get it. And so I'm sitting, I'm like, how does this song start? How does it start? She starts singing and like it comes back to me. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she finishes and I was like, they're like, are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I just started belting this song and you could see him immediately go like, oh, he's like going. I performed it like exactly how the kid performed it in the movie. Like I was like walking around the stage, like dropping down to a knee. Like
how old are you?
9.
And what'd they say?
And they're like at the end of it, there's like clapping. And then like, I think it was like that night or something. They're like, yeah, it's his part. It's his part. So like, that was my first job.
You've got balls.
I was like, no, I was young and stupid. I didn't know.
That's the thing. Where does it come from that you sort of, because growing up, you played baseball competitively. I mean, you had a scholarship to Arizona State.
Yeah.
You went to the College World Series. You were,
I was on the team that went. Yeah. I had
team
surgery.
That went.
I had surgery, so I wasn't there. Yeah.
Where do you think confidence begins for a child? For me, it starts with the parents.
Parents, yeah, for sure. Parents.
They always supported you. They always made you feel smart. They always made you feel like competent, like you could do this.
Yeah,
they were always like that.
Yeah, parents, coaches, big time. Parents and coaches, but
and
I still say the biggest, probably one of the single greatest influences on my life outside of my immediate family was my high school baseball coach. Like, and my coaches prior to that. Like my coaches from the time I was like maybe 9.
See, 9, coaches always seem like mostly assholes to me.
Yeah, but I love that. And I think it's still important. I don't like. You
don't like sugarcoating?
No. Oh, I agree. I hate it.
I agree. Like everybody gets a trophy.
I hate
That's
it.
That's not.
Man.
Your kid needs to know if this isn't right for him.
Yes.
Don't waste his time. Her time.
Have you seen Whiplash?
Their time.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies.
Love it.
And I so I was dating.
He was a
one
little
time.
bit too.
No. Perfect for this example. I was dating somebody one time and she had not grown up with sports. She grew up in arts. And so we watched that movie. And when that movie ended, I was like, if you want to know what my life was like from 9 to 21 playing baseball, that's what it was.
That aggressive?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That like, you're worthless.
Yeah, pretty close.
That's absolutely terrible.
Pretty close.
Your eye wasn't even on the ball. Where are you throwing the freaking ball?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it didn't phase you?
No, it was great. I loved it.
You never got rattled?
No, because it's like, you know what? I'm going to make you shut the fuck up. That's what I'm going to do.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's that.
I'm way more negatively motivated like that than I am by positive encouragement, which I know maybe is like, there's
do you know something?
There's different opinions on how healthy that is.
I think you're right.
But it's like, I'll prove you wrong. It's like, you know what? I don't want to hear you say that anymore. So I'm just going to do what I need to do to not hear you say that.
Or to change your mind.
Because I can. You're right. I could have done that better and that result would not have happened. And then I wouldn't have to listen to you talk to me. So, and that was my high school coach was really good with this stuff where like the first year and a half I was in high school, we were terrified of him. Cause like I played for coaches like that literally since I was 9 or 10. There was a guy, I won't name his name, but there was a guy that I played for when I was 9, 10 years old who was that intense. Like maybe almost the most intense coach I've played for.
You are terrible.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was.
And you never responded to him. You never barked back. You never.
No. You're
just like,
he's a coach. Did I do it right? No, I didn't. So whose fault is it? Like, I didn't do it right.
But did your parents ever hear your coaches talk to you like that and say, hey, don't talk to my son that way?
Never. That didn't happen until I got into high school and the kids below me's parents started doing that. And I saw the shift.
You resented those kids.
Oh, yeah.
For bitching about it.
Oh, yeah. I was like, dude,
put your big pants on.
Hey, how about this? How about you be better?
Yeah.
How about you be better and then you don't have to hear it? That's an easy solution. That's the coaching I grew up with. And I know that's not in keeping with what's in and everything right now. But I agree that it
made you who you are.
Yeah. And I agree there are versions of it that are healthier than others. Do I think it's good to sit there and berate somebody? No. Do I think that pushing somebody and actually making them uncomfortable enough to get better is important? Yes. If you're comfortable, why are you going to change? If it's comfortable for you, then what motivation do you have to change something that's working for you?
It makes me think. Now that I think about it, because even it translates into acting, and really in everything you do, in many ways. If someone's like, "That's great, oh, can we try? That's great, but let's try it like that." I'd rather have someone. It depends. There's ways of doing it. Every actor's different.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't care if a director's like, absolutely doing it the wrong way. That's not how I wanted it.
All right, cool.
That was terrible. You'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Oh my God, be the best. I hate
coddling.
I hate sugarcoating. I hate coddling. So I wrote something one time. It's the only thing I wrote and that we sold eventually. But when I sent it to the producers I was working with, I was like, guys, there are 2 acceptable responses when you read this. This is great. We can sell it. Or that's very cute that you tried. We're going to get a real writer. I was like, those are the only 2 things I want to hear. I don't want to hear it's good. I want to hear oh, I really enjoyed it, but I don't want to hear any of that.
You said that.
Yeah, it was in the email. I was like, 2 acceptable responses. One of these 2. And they read it and
no ego.
And they're like, we can sell it. I'm like, great, let's go. Don't give me the middle ground. I hate that. So then when I started getting notes on it, it felt like that. And I was like, guys, I don't care how I feel after I read what you have to say. I don't care. I don't care if I'm just like, wow, they hated it. Great. I know how much you want me to change now.
I'll adjust.
If you go like, we really, really liked it. We just want, well, then I'm just going to do that. If you say, wow, I really didn't enjoy it and here's why, fantastic. I can use that.
Do you ever get your feelings hurt? Have you ever been, because it sounds like you're very strong.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
Does that translate into other aspects of your life? Are you when you watch a movie, do you ever cry?
Oh yeah,
you get emotional.
I still feel.
You're a sap.
Yeah, I'm just resilient. It's just it's resiliency.
Right.
That's what my coach always said. He's like, this is resiliency. It's perseverance. It's how many times can you feel the bad stuff and just work through it. What have
you cried about?
Breakups, games that I've lost, times where I could have been better at something, I could have done better.
What about watching something for the first time and being really overwhelmed by how great it turned out?
Oh, dude, I cry at sports all the time.
I cry.
I'll watch reunion videos of I'll see a soldier that comes back and surprises the kids or something and just oh, dude, yeah. I'm not emotionally void.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you're very strong. So I'm just wondering, what it would take to kind of make you kind of
anything that tugs at the heart or anything any kind of loss, any kind of I could have been better. I could have done this. I could have done that. Any of that stuff will still get me. It's more of there's a you ever hear this? I say it's a book, but it's not. It's like a lecture series. Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability.
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay, so I went through a breakup and I listened to that immediately. And dude, you want to talk about, I was sobbing for days, every single lesson, everything she talked about.
This girl really hurt you.
Oh yeah, it was the first really, really bad breakup I'd gone through. It was the one where I afterwards was oh, I need to call all my friends who went through breakups where I was like, dude, it's been a few months. You got to get past this. You got to let it go.
I went then I
had that one. I was like, oh, and I called a couple of friends. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
You don't understand it until you go through it.
You don't.
I remember that
really
too.
Don't.
Oh, I really feel bad about your dog. And I do.
Yeah.
And I'm there.
Yeah.
And then once I lost a dog, now anytime anybody loses a dog, I just am
dude,
oh my God.
Anytime somebody says to me, I'm just going through a breakup, I'm like, how you doing? How you doing? I'm like, I'm here to talk as long as you want to talk. What do you want to talk about?
It's tough.
It's rough, man. It's rough. So I listened to that audio lecture series, And that was one of the most important things I listened to, because they gave me the balance, like coming from the sports world and coming from that, like, because everything was always like, look, if it's not constructive, in one ear and out the other. And I was like, that's a great lesson. If it's not constructive, it's just noise.
Right.
So just let it go.
Yeah.
Who cares? And that's been super helpful with Twitter and Instagram and comments and everything, like all that stuff over the years. You know, some people get messed up by that, and rightfully so. It's like, it's so true. You can read 1,000 nice things and you read one negative one. That's the only one you're going to remember.
I think baseball helped you incredibly with your career as an actor.
Massive.
Because facing rejection is absolutely the one thing that happens over and over and over in this industry.
Yeah.
And if you don't have thick skin, and if you can't take it, and if you can't say, I'm going to improve, and you can't fight for what you want, and have that, you know, that inside you, and that's power. That's a powerful thing to have.
Right.
And if you're not confident in yourself, if you're not confident that you could do a good job, if you're not, those things will bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, look, your childhood, you know, having loving parents mixed in with having some tough love and tough coaches into this.
Yeah.
I think that's why you're in a lot of ways fearless.
It's helpful. I'm never totally fearless, but I mean, I've gotten to a point where, but I've also been in it long enough now. I started as a kid. It's almost been 30 years since I've been in it. So it's like, but 100%, like, baseball was great for me for so many reasons. One, it just gave me something else to focus on other than just doing this as a kid, where it was like, this is everything. Yeah. So it was always a little bit of that. Very humbling to have teammates that, like, I was on a show in high school that aired on Mondays. So every Tuesday, I was like, oh God, here we go. It's gonna be a long day today.
What show is that?
Seventh Heaven.
Oh, Seventh Heaven, right?
Yeah.
So, Barry Watson, isn't he a lovely guy?
Yeah. Oh, Barry's very nice guy. Very nice guy. Everybody was great on that show. It was great. I've been super lucky, man. Every show I've been on, amazing people. Yeah.
When you filmed Teen Wolf, you sorry to interrupt, but you roomed with the two guys.
I did. First year was me, Posey, and Dylan in a 3-bedroom apartment. It was great.
And you guys are still tight?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's, you know, doing their own thing now and everything. But yeah, I mean, most of my best friends are still from that show. So, you know, I'm very lucky. I've worked with great people on everything I've been on. But, you know, Tuesday practice was Reams Tyler. It was just, we'd jog out to center field, stretch the calves, go back to left field line. And as soon as we got in our stretch lines, it's just like, all right. So who wants to go first? And they just like recall like stupid shit I said on the show the night before.
Did you love it?
It was great. It's the best.
Yeah, because deep down, you know, they were jealous.
Of course, no, they weren't jealous. They love me. The cool thing was, half of those guys I'd played ball with since I was probably like, I don't know, probably since I was like 8 or 9 years old. So we'd all known each other. Maybe not always on the same team, but against each other. And so we all kind of knew each other.
Yeah. Did you play with any buddy who ever made it to the major leagues?
Oh, yeah. Played with Ike Davis was my roommate. He played for the Mets for a while. Yeah.
Dude, I loved Ike Davis.
I know. He was the man. So Ike's still one of my best buddies. He was my roommate at ASU. Mike Leake was on that team. Andrew Romine was on that team. Eric Sogard was on that team. Who else did I play with that got to the bigs? Played against a bunch of guys in high school. I mean, Moustakis and
wow.
Yeah.
Moustakis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We all played around the same time.
Do you ever still imagine yourself or have dreams of making the major leagues?
Every day.
Like, because I still think of, you know, like I just did this thing where I played hockey on TV.
I saw that. You sent me the clip. That's dope.
And I just was like, it was so exciting. Because as a kid, that's all I wanted to do was play. I wanted to be in the NHL. Yeah. I wanted, you know, and I still have dreams of that. I'm obviously old and whatever, but so especially someone who, you know, played like competitive baseball, like scholarship, Arizona State, play with these guys. So you still think about that stuff? Oh, every day. You play video games, baseball, and you're like, now batting number 4. No, but if you said, hey, you can do whatever you want for a year, you can do whatever you want. And I'd be like, I want to play a major league season. I want to play shortstop. And hit in the 2-hole for a full major league season. Hey folks, it's me, Michael Rosenbaum. Listen, if you're a supporter of the podcast, if you're enjoying these interviews, we ask you if you can join Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you, and help the podcast. It's a great way to build a community and friends, and there's a lot of benefits. There's different tiers. There's one where I give you packages every couple of months, a bunch of gifts, and write a note. You get your name shouted out on the podcast and much, much more. But most importantly, you'll be helping the podcast. So if you want to become a member of Patreon and support this podcast, that would be awesome. So just go to Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/inside of you. And I really appreciate you. Thanks. If you devoted yourself for the next year of just training, working out, ground balls to shortstop, practicing your infield, batting cages, did everything. And I shot a documentary of you just trying to see if you can make the cut. Making the cut. And it's your dream and seeing if you have what it takes. Do you think you're too old, or do you think you'd have a decent chance?
I'd try it. I don't know. I'm probably not going to make a squad, but I go. Could
you hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball?
Here's the thing, defense was always my best thing. So I know my defense could come back. Like the only thing would be like, how's my shoulder going to hold up? But I could get out and play defense again.
But they have stem cell and they have all these other things.
They got stem cells, man. They got all kinds
I got
of
a guy
now.
in Dallas.
They got all kinds
Adam Sewell, man.
Yeah?
Oh man, if you have he does
Might
this
have to book a flight.
PDPA placenta injections, protein injections in your joints,
dude,
and things like it. It's crazy.
It's crazy what they do now. Man.
But like
I'm working with this guy right now. I'm not like, it's still one of those things where I want to get a little further in the process with it before I really start talking about it. But I'm working with this guy who was my trainer on Teen Wolf, and we've been working together for like the last 3 months. Completely new style of training, and it is. I've had back pain and shoulder stuff since I was 18, and
me too.
And this is the first time in 20 years I don't have pain there after 3 months.
Well,
it's been gone for.
What is he doing?
It's all a bunch of it's a whole system, but the easiest way to sum it up is it's a bunch of kind of like these in a way isometric extreme holds positions, but you're constantly pulling yourself into a more and more extreme position. And it's like, dude, if you just watch the workout, it looks like probably maybe the easiest workout you've ever seen compared to sitting there and doing
that sounds like
doing
my cup
reps,
of tea.
Doing reps and doing this whole thing and lifting the big weights and stuff.
Isometrics,
huge. I haven't lifted a dumbbell in 3 months.
Can you introduce me to this guy?
100%.
He's in LA?
100%. No, he moves around a bit. He's New York, Atlanta, LA. But dude,
I'd love to get a session with him.
It is the most effective thing I've ever done. Like, it's crazy. I don't do any weights, and it's just, the recovery is crazy.
Do you take anti-inflammatories at all for your pains? Nothing. You don't take any drugs. You don't do drugs. You don't do any of that stuff. You have a couple of drinks here and there. That's it.
Yeah, even that's kind of tapered off. I like
Me
to
too.
Have, I like to have a cocktail. Like if we're out celebrating someone and we're at dinner, I'll have a cocktail and stuff. But honestly,
you don't need it.
No, and I've gone through a couple different stretches where I just go completely off, and I was like, you know what, let's take a little break. And then after a few months, I'm like, man, I don't. And also here's the kicker for me. I actually end up being more social. That's why when I take a break from it, I don't go back to it quickly, because it's like after a few months, I actually notice I'm actually out and being more social and personable and having a better time. And then when I do have a couple drinks, I actually start to close off a little bit. So I'm like, oh, I'm not even accomplishing.
Well, it's good
what this used to accomplish
about yourself. So, yeah.
I was like, I actually have a better time. So that's I have no problem with it. I have no problem go out and enjoy yourself. But it's just for me, I'm like, I actually have a better time when I'm not. So
Road to Perdition.
Yeah.
You auditioned. There was 2,000 kids that auditioned.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 13, 12 or 13.
How many auditions for this did you go on?
2.
What was the second reading with?
Sam Mendes. Just me and Sam in the room.
And were you nervous? No.
I didn't know to be nervous.
Did he tell you got it in the room?
He did. I think maybe the only time that's ever happened.
Wow. Sam Mendes says, you want the role?
Yeah. Yeah. So the story is my
and that's
brother,
Max Allan Collins. Who wrote it.
Graphic novel.
I just did a 10-part audio series. I was the lead role in it.
Nice.
And I worked with him. He's the most beautiful man ever. It's called True Noir. It's great. It's a really cool series, but go ahead.
Oh, dope. That's awesome. So my brother, I want to close on this point on the earlier thing real quick. Just
did I interrupt you?
No.
I did.
No, we didn't. We veered off, and I just want to go back to it. Because I think it's such an important piece. This Brene Brown thing. The cool thing about that is because as a guy, especially nowadays, everybody talks about vulnerability and modern masculinity and all this stuff. The great thing about that was you're talking about being emotionally strong. this lecture series was so great because it gave you such a great framework of how to genuinely be vulnerable and comfortable in those emotions and not have these walls up and not be unfeeling, but still like that coupled with how I grew up with sports and coaches and tough love and hard coaching. Those two things combined is what I've been really appreciative of moving forward now, because I can be very, very in touch with those things and aware of those things. I can communicate those things clearly without breaking down. I can still be that strong, but I have access to those tools.
Well, yeah.
So I would highly recommend that to anybody. Anybody that's like struggling and like being in relationships and being able to communicate and express how you feel without feeling like, oh, I'm being too soft or I'm being too this. That's a great lecture series to check up on. So anyway,
well,
a little side note, but
to add to your point, it's like all these things, like your parents, your upbringing, your coaching, and also being adaptable.
Yeah.
And saying like, I don't have everything together. I'm willing to read this book and learn
dude,
more about myself. I'm willing to get something from this person. I'm willing, we're malleable, we're open.
Why would you want to feel like there's not room to improve?
Well, a lot of people think that. A lot of people are listening right now thinking, no, I'm the way I am. This is just the way it is. I know I've felt that about myself a lot, where I'm like, dude, this is just how you are, and you're just going to live it. This is how good. And you get in your own head, and it's like poor me and bullshit. And it's like, at some point, you got to step up and just say, I want to make these changes.
Yeah.
I'm going to make these changes.
Yeah.
And it's not about taking off in a sprint. It's just like, try one little thing.
Yeah.
I always say, try one little thing in your routine to change one of the bad things.
Yeah.
Then add something.
Yeah.
And slowly just kind of implement that in your life.
Yep.
And see how you feel.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing feeling that just on a day where you do nothing, compared to a day where you just like maybe have a light workout or go for a little hike.
Oh yeah.
How you go, well, I did accomplish something today. I did this.
Yep.
I think the little accomplishments are just as important as the big accomplishments.
Oh, it's momentum. It's momentum. You can't do it all at once. It's like if you don't work out for a year and then you go back to the gym and you're like, I'm gonna do the same exercise I did the last time I went to the gym, when you've been going for 6 months straight. It's like, yeah, great. Now you can't work out for 6 months again.
Yeah, take it easy. You have to slow.
It's momentum. But it's the same way I feel about people who never want to say anything's their fault. I'm like, why would you ever want it to be anything other than your fault? If it's your fault, you can fix it. If it's your fault, you can do something about it.
That's a major problem. But because
like, I'm not saying that make everything your fault. I'm just saying
own it.
But yes, if there's an opportunity to find where you could have done something to affect a more positive outcome,
only way you're going to change.
Why wouldn't you want that opportunity?
Only way you're going to change.
So for me, like anytime something goes on, I'm like, okay, I kind of hope this is my fault, because if it's my fault, I can do something about it either right now or next time this comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's the other person, it's like, so what? You're just going to be constantly hoping everybody else figures it out for you all the time to make your
life growing
work?
up
like,
with people that
What?
Never owned anything.
Yeah.
Never said, I'm sorry. Never said it's my fault.
Did you have that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I never heard it. It was always my fault. So but then when it's always your fault, you start to believe it. You're like, I'm a fucking worthless piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the too far side of that.
That's the too, so but then you start to believe, then you start to realize you grow up and you begin to think more and understand more and acknowledge things. And start to think, that wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
That wasn't my fucking fault at all. Yeah. That's on them.
Yeah.
That's on that person.
Yeah.
And that's also being open to like reading that book. Yeah. To listening to people who have experiences.
Yeah, man.
And so that's huge. And it's, I always say, some people are like, I don't do therapy. I don't get any therapy. Like, do you just not have anything to talk about? No. Well, if you, it just bottles up. I know myself. If I don't talk about something, it just festers and I'm not aware of it. I'm like, why do I feel irritable? Why do I feel this? Yeah. Because I have so much to get out. Have you ever gone to therapy?
I've never gone, but I have nothing against it. Like I have nothing against it, and I'm not one of those like, oh, never kind of people. And that's kind of like, again, that journey of like, I don't see anything negative about it. I don't see anything like, oh, that's too soft or that's not, none of that stuff. I've just never felt the need to go to it, because I do have some friends who I'm very, like, I have a few friends in my life, like we talk about everything. Yeah. Everything. And none of it is ever that whole like, oh man, someone did this and that was messed up, or someone did this and like I just keep getting screwed over. Like, no. It's always like, hey, this happened. I'm trying to figure out maybe how I could have handled it differently, how I could have been better about it, how I could have been more mature about it, how I could have been this. And I have a few friends, like we'll talk about everything.
Yeah.
And I'm very good about being open and honest about those things. So I've never gotten to the point with anything where I go like, I keep running from this or I keep hiding this or this is like getting bottled up. So I just haven't gone because I've felt like I've gotten that response from other people and I've had that outlet with people. So, I mean, I have nothing against it. My thing on therapy is what I don't like is everyone has to be in therapy because it's a little bit like, I'm like, look, if you have cancer, you should get chemotherapy probably.
Right.
But if you don't, why are you going? So there's a bit of me that's like, I agree with therapy. I think therapy is amazing for people who need it.
Right.
But I don't think everybody needs it. I don't think everybody needs it. Could it benefit everybody? Yeah, probably sure.
But yes, but I will say there are a lot of people who don't think they need therapy.
100%.
That absolutely need therapy.
100%.
But that's a whole other level.
And that's my thing. If I ever confronted something where I was like, I'm not handling this in the way that I know I could best be handling it, and I'm not getting the information or the feedback from friends or people that I trust who have been in those similar experiences.
Sure.
I need to go talk to someone. I would do it in a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it in a second.
Did you? How many seasons did Lois and Superman Lois go?
4 years.
Now, were you upset that it only went 4 years?
You know what, man? It is what it is. It worked out. It worked out just how it's supposed to work out.
Because people loved it. There's tons of fans.
Yeah.
You go to cons, people are crazy about you.
Yeah.
Like, were you just like, why did we go 4 seasons? Was there any party that was like, how did we not go 5 or 6 or 7 seasons like all these other shows? Or maybe TV's changing, or maybe whatever.
I think there's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of things we break down what happened and why and everything. Probably could get into. But for me, again, like I always said, I feel like this role found me for a reason.
You weren't seeking.
No. So I was always very happy to be like, I'm here to service it for as long as it requires me to be here. So if it's 4 years, if it's 10 years, if it's whatever it is, I was like, I'm just here to do what's asked. So it wasn't like I wish I could have kept working with those people because I loved everybody on that crew and on that cast. Yeah, 100%. But am I sitting here being like, oh man, I wish I was still playing Superman? Like, no, but not because I didn't enjoy it, just because I never
expected or wished.
I never had any expectations with it. It was always just like, again, even when I went to talk to Greg, we were going to talk about I thought we were just going to talk about other things like Indiana Jones or something. I was like, I want to do like an action adventure thing. And then this came up. And so I was sitting there going like, all right, look, this thing keeps coming back to you and maybe there's a reason for it. So I was always very, very happy to just hold the place until it was my time to move on and let the next.
So you weren't bummed.
I was bummed that I wasn't going to work with those people anymore, but I wasn't bummed that I wasn't going to play that character anymore. That show.
Did Greg call you?
I talked to Sarah Schechter when we were kind of like, because it was like, dude, the fact that show even went 4 seasons in the years that we had it with COVID the first 2 years, and then the strike, like the fact that we got through all that, and
amazing.
Then the WB Discovery thing, everything that happened, the CW sale, like it's a miracle we did 4 seasons.
Yeah.
But I got a call from Sarah going into the 4th season saying, hey, we're gonna get a 4th to wrap things up, and I was like, great, awesome, cool. So. But again, I was, I was always kind of like, hey, like it is what it is. I'm so content with.
You have a great attitude.
Whatever this requires of me, man. Like I'm not,
And we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for Christy Korsick.
Yeah, I know.
You know who we love. Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday, Christy.
No, she's amazing. She's just the nicest freaking person in the world.
Yes,
she's so full of love and gratitude. I just wish everyone could be like that woman.
Yeah,
she is. She's truly awesome.
No, she's the best. Like I said, we had nothing but amazing people on that from like top to bottom.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say they have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. You think nowadays that, it wouldn't be that. And it's a shame because so many people could really benefit from therapy. And, when people hesitate to get help, it doesn't just affect them. It impacts families, workplaces, and entire communities. This Mental Health Awareness Month, let's encourage everyone to take care of their well-being and break the stigma. The world is better when people are healthy and happy. Therapy is a great way to take care of your mental health. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and It's for everyone. It isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma or loss. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists with a wide range of specialties. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. And with BetterHelp, you can easily switch therapists anytime at no cost. I think that's a big thing, where if you're like, what if I don't like my therapist? Well, it's easy. You just change. And, it's online. You don't have to go in and see somebody. It's so easy. Start now. Start a good habit. Do something for yourself. We have a lot that's inside of us that we want to get out. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/inside to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/inside.
The title of the book, The Talented Farter.
Yeah.
That Vinny.
Never.
This is a wonderful story about a little boy whose only gift, his only real talent is tooting. He can make his toot sound like everything you hear in everyday life. So little Michael loved Halloween, but nothing frightened his friends more than when Michael would stink up a good scare. Can you hear that?
Oh, I heard it.
It is a lovely story, and it's beautifully illustrated by my friend Heath, and Simon & Schuster's putting it out. It's going to be in tons of bookstores and available on Amazon. I'm so proud of it.
Were you offered the role of Emmett Cullen in Twilight?
Of Emmett?
Was it
Yes.
You were?
Yeah.
And you didn't take it?
Yeah.
And why didn't you take it?
Because I was getting ready to start my first season at UC Irvine for baseball. And I would have had to miss the first 4 weeks of the season.
Was it a tough decision?
Yeah. Yes. I was driving into the parking structure to go to my Greek mythology class, and my agent or my manager called. I think my manager called and said, "Hey, so they're casting this guy Robert Pattinson for Edward, who I had auditioned for. They're like, so they're casting Robert for Edward, but they want you to play the brother Emmett." And I said, "Okay. When do they need an answer?" And they're like, "Pretty quick." So I think this was like, I want to say this was January. So I skipped my class and I called.
You miss Agamemnon and Clytemnestra and all the Greek tragedies.
I still passed the class, thankfully.
Good.
But
I barely did too.
I that's actually one of the only classes I was like, I loved that class.
I loved it too.
wanted to take that class really bad. And so I skipped class. I called my parents. I called some family friends. I called my buddy who was a scout with the White Sox and asked him like, hey, if I do this, what does that look like? Because so at this point, so we're 2 weeks out from the season starting. UC Irvine, I just transferred from Arizona State. UC Irvine had eliminated us in Omaha the year before. We were preseason top 10, picked to go back to Omaha. And I had just been named the starting second baseman. And the guy who was behind me at the time was hurt. So I get this call, we need you to come up there. And I was going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. So I skipped class. I made all these calls. And then I had to go to practice. I had to go to weights. And I was I remember sitting outside the locker room in the hallway that went up to the press box. And I was sobbing with my buddy and my roommate at the time, Sean Madigan. And I was sitting there and I was telling him what was going on. And he's like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I talked to my agent and he was like, look, it was kind of like, not only like an indie film, but it was it wasn't Twilight. No one knew.
Big, right.
He's like, look, it could be something that comes and goes and no one really ever cares about, or it could be the biggest thing in the world. It was the biggest thing in the world. So it was so I sat there and I was sobbing outside the locker room. I think one other guy came by and was like, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, man. I'm fine. And then I'm a pretty chipper, upbeat, energetic guy, very optimistic all the time. And so at weights, it was the one time where I was just I didn't talk to anybody. I was so in my head and I was just I looked at the wall and I saw what I had to do and I was just doing the sets and putting it down, walking away, coming back, doing my set, putting it down. And a couple people went up to my buddy and was like, is Heck okay? And he's like, yeah, he's figuring something out. So go through the whole day. And I finally talked to my buddy who was the scout again. And he's like, look, end of the day, if you go and do this, Gillespie might let you come back and play at Irvine. He's like, but as a scout, he's like, I'm gonna have a real hard time convincing an organization that we should draft a guy who, left to go do a movie right before the season started. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. And so I called Catherine Hardwick and I was like, hey, She's like, are you coming up to Oregon? I was like, Catherine, I was like, I'm so grateful. I really appreciate it. I was like, but like, I've got 30 guys here who have been killing themselves for the last few months to make a run at this World Series again. And like, I'd be letting every one of them down if I left. And I can't do that. And she's like, we got a baseball scene in the movie. And I was like, I know. I was like, but I was like, I hope you guys have a great time. I really appreciate it. I was like, but I gotta respectfully say no.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But you don't regret it?
No.
Not at all.
I had strictly, I mean, for that whole season, for my whole life, that life experience, I don't regret it just because I got to continue to play ball. And already when I left, I felt like I stopped too soon. I went through like an identity crisis for like 7 years after I stopped playing. So like I needed those years. And then it led to another movie, which I'll tell you about. But like, just for this one at bat that I had against LSU in the Super Regional, I'll never forget that at bat.
What happened?
I'll never forget it. So it was, we'd won the first
What number
game.
you were? Eight?
I wore 14 was my number. 14 was my number. And then when I got to college, 14 was retired at ASU. So I picked 32 because I wore 14 because my older brother wore 14. Then I went to college, and in college, he went from 14 to 32. 14 was retired at ASU, so I wore 32. Then I went to UC Irvine, and our Friday night starter was number 32. So I picked number 4 because somebody else already had 14. So
I said 4.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. So I went from 14, 32, and then 4. So
I just threw it out there.
Good guess. It's a good guess.
Okay.
Lou Gehrig, man. And so what was I saying? At LSU. So we win the first game. It's a super regional, so best of 3 goes to the Omaha. We win the first game. Second game, we're up 7-4 in the top of the 9th, and we're the home team that game because it switches. So we need 3 outs, and we go to Omaha. We're up by 3, and we had our All-American closer on the mound. Had not given up more than 1 run in the 9th inning the whole season. So we go. LSU gets this crazy rally. The place that we lost. What happened was we actually would have got out of it, except it was so loud there. Our third baseman couldn't hear our coach trying to move him back. So me and one other guy with like 1 out and bases loaded sprint to the end of the dugout, and we're like, Gish! And we give him the sign to back up. As he looks over and sees the sign and goes to take his first step, the guy hits a chopper that goes this far over his glove at third base, and these runs score. And if we had him back where we wanted him, he would have been like 1 step in, catch it, step on third, go to first, or catch it, second to first, out of the game, we go to Omaha. So it goes this far over his glove, and the inning keeps going. So we end up going down 9-7. And the guy that they had on the mound had been pitching for, I think like the last 3 innings, and had gone like 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and just like 9 guys
put him back
sat him down. So he goes back out for the bottom of the 9th, and my coach goes, "Heck, you're pinch hitting, you're in." And I was like,
"How many men on?"
Nobody to start the inning. So I hadn't. Trying to think if I'd had it in a bat in that series yet. I don't think I'd had it in a bat in that series yet.
Now batting number 4, Tyler Hoechlin.
Yep. So I go up to hit. It is the first time in my life where they say like you can't hear yourself think. Can't hear yourself think. You can't. It was so loud there. It's this old Alex Box Stadium. They had this tin roof on it, and the fans there, dude. So I hate LSU because we eventually lost that series.
Right.
But if I could go back and play college baseball again, oh my God, LSU. First place I would go. The environment there was insane. And I can't say that because actually the first place, go to UC Irvine. My buddy's coach there now. So if you're watching this and you play ball, go to Irvine. Those guys are great.
But what happened at the bat?
So I go up, I have to take sign. Guy throws a ball. So then obviously take sign again. Ball 2. Take sign again. Guy throws, you can watch it on YouTube. He clearly throws ball 3. It wasn't like maybe. It was like, it's clearly ball 3. But the umpire called it a strike. And so like the announcers even go, "It's 3-0." And they go, oh no, he called that a strike. It's 2. It's 2-1. So now I have the green light to swing. Guy throws another ball. So now it's 3-1. So now I have the take sign again. So now he throws another strike. So now it's a full count. And I've really not even been allowed to think about swinging yet. This guy's gotten like the last 9 guys out in a row. So I'm sitting there. The place gets that loud to where like every thought is just gone. It's just rattle. Like you almost feel like your eyes rattling. It was that loud. And this guy throws a fastball, and I hit it. And I thought I got it pretty good. I didn't know I got it that good. The left fielder is like on a dead sprint to left center gap. And I just head down thinking like triple. If it's off the wall and it careens, like I'm on third base. So I'm just sprinting. And I hit first base, and I look up, and I just see this guy on the ground and the fans going crazy. And I'm thinking like, what happened? Like so then I kind of hit second base and I keep running to third. And my coach is like, he got it, man. He got it. And I was like, what? And I watched the replay. The left fielder was a guy named Jared Mitchell, who eventually I believe was a first round draft pick. He was also a wide receiver for LSU football.
Most amazing catch you'd ever say.
Oh, dude. Him and this guy, I want to say his name was Landry in center field. They, in that series, made so many ridiculous catches. It was outrageous. But he full sprint into left center gap and just laid out and like into the wall, like hit his neck and caught the ball. But I'll never forget that at bat. And so years later, Everybody Wants Some is casting the Richard Linklater.
I was going to
movie.
ask you about that, yeah.
And
girlfriend
they
loves
were like,
that movie.
It was a fun movie, man. It was a fun movie. But the audition for it was there's a very long story behind this. I don't even have time
Baseball
for it, but
audition.
yeah, to a degree. But originally they weren't going to see me for it. And so I kind of had to we persuaded them to let me send in the self-tape essentially. And the thing was like, we want to hear like an anecdote from high school, if you have any sports experience and, one or two other things. And they're like, but it needs to be under 5 minutes. And so I kept trying to do this thing at home by myself. And I couldn't get it under 5 minutes because it was just like, it just kept going on. So my girlfriend, who was an actress at the time, I was like, I can't get this done. Can you come help me? And so she comes over and I was like, I feel like I'm trying to answer each one of these questions, but like my life was baseball, like in high school. Like it's all the same. All these questions are one thing to me. She's like, then say that.
Yeah.
So I did. I got this thing and I said, hey, look, I'm trying to do this format you guys are asking for. I was like, but honestly, like they're all so blended together for me. I'm like, my life was baseball. Like I ate it, I slept it, I dreamt it. Like that was my life. I was like, so anything is this. And then an experience I talked about was that at bat at LSU. And then I from what they told me, I ended up being the first one cast for that film. So it was like,
wow,
crazy, just like full circle. I was like, oh, dude, you're right where you're supposed to be, man. You're right where you're supposed to be. Like,
see what happens when you just say, there are certain rules or certain things that people want.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just got to go with your heart or your gut.
Yeah.
And just take a chance. Like, what do you have to lose?
You know what the best part was?
What?
My, teammates being supportive. When Twilight opened, two of my teammates had me go with them and I think a couple girls to go watch that movie. And we showed up at the Irvine Spectrum and the line was around the shopping center. It was so long. And like once we saw it and it came out and made what it made and got greenlit for like 4 more movies, they're like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You should have done that movie. I was like, you guys are assholes. I said no to be here for you guys. It's like, yeah, you're a dumbass. You should have done that.
All right, this is, I can't believe we have this, but this is Shit Talking with Tyler Hoechlin. This is fast, rapid fire.
Yeah.
These are my top tier patrons
okay.
Inside of you, patreon.com/inside of you. We love you. Julie, which of the prior actors who played Superman inspired your iteration?
I just still haven't seen him.
You haven't seen him? You never saw him?
No.
All right, that's fair enough.
And once I knew I was going to do it, I was just like, I don't want to.
I don't
want to have things to avoid. I don't want to have things I feel like I can't do because they did it.
When I played Lex Luthor, I didn't want to do anything. I just was like, I'll play it real. I'll play it grounded. Yeah. I don't want to know anything.
Honestly, my dad, like really, if I'm doing it, like pops, especially the Clark Kent stuff.
Raj, tell me about the best birthday gift you ever received. Was it an autograph?
Yeah, actually, no. For whatever reason, the one that pops up in my head is like my parents got me this Tim Salmon, JT Snow signed poster. And $100 because I just wanted to have $100. I think it was like my 8th or 9th birthday.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Melissa M, now that you've stepped into the boots of a superhero, would you consider playing a DC or Marvel villain?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like that.
Taylor R, what made you most nervous about the role of Superman?
I wasn't.
You already answered that.
I feel like such a douchebag.
Would you play it again?
Wasn't. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I had a blast.
Linda M, would you call yourself brave?
Depends on the situation. If there's sharks involved, no.
You don't like sharks?
No, man. I love to surf. I just can't do it.
Yeah, geez,
just
man.
can't. I can't surf Malibu.
Would you do another Teen Wolf movie?
Yeah, I love those guys.
You loved it. You had a blast.
I just love those people. I would totally go back and do it again. And like, dude, that show has just been, it's some crazy phenomenon. It's, yeah.
I mean,
give the people what they want.
Do you ever work with assholes? You ever worked with an asshole? You don't have to mention him or her. Was it tough?
One in particular.
Was it? And you say that with conviction.
Thank God it was only for a day.
And it was not good?
No, it was like literally like every caricature of like an actor on set that you've ever been told. I was like, oh my God, you're a real person. Like you actually exist.
Was it on Superman and Lois?
No.
It was on something before. A movie or something.
Something long ago.
But really, like, whoa. Did you say anything to the person?
No, because I was just there and I was just like, I just looking around at everybody that has to do that like every day. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry you guys have to like live this on a daily basis. That sucks.
If I guess who it is, do you get to say?
I don't want to say. I don't have a problem telling people like one-on-one in conversations if we're talking about work stuff, but like
I have a feeling I have an
air it out
idea.
here. You might.
I might. Well, maybe we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it after. Yeah.
This has been an absolute delight. And you loved working with Elizabeth on Superman Lois.
Oh, dude. I mean, come on.
You guys are still close?
Yeah. We had as much fun as you possibly could have had making that show. Like we have the same language as far as like a lot of the same love languages as far as like teasing and just joking around. So we just give each other shit all the time. And it was just so fun.
Best.
It's so fun. It's just like chill.
Anything going on now? Anything new or are you just kind of chilling now?
I'm taking a break right now, man. I want to see like those years with like the first year being the COVID lockdown of shooting and then being back up there for the second season and kind of still feeling that. And then I never really made it back and forth as much as I thought I would. It's like been a lot of time away from family and a lot of friends that I've like, I saw a buddy the other day and I was like, it's the first time I met his kid and his kid's like 4. And I was like, dude,
that's what this business does.
This just goes by too fast, man. So like I'm if there's something that comes up that I'm super, super stoked about, there's some things that we're like developing that's going to take some time, but like if there's something that's amazing that I'm like, I have to go do this right now, I will. Right. But that's what I'm looking for right now. Other than that, I'm like, I want to be available to have lunch. I want to be available to have dinner.
Come do a podcast.
I want to do a podcast. I want to go hit in the cages with my nephews. Like I want to do that for a minute. And if something comes up that's like, I'm supposed to be there, then I'll be there. But I don't want to just go do something to do something right now. So
can you hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball?
Yeah, I think so. I can still hit 90. I mean,
you need some swings.
I put me in the cage for a minute, but yeah, I can still get there.
You pick it right up, huh? It's all in the
I'm
time.
I'm gonna pick it right up. I actually went and took batting practice in my old high school a few weeks ago.
Did you
hit?
hit?
Like 100 swings. Yeah, my coach is just throwing them in, man. It's great. I actually didn't feel, again, these workouts, I'm telling you, I would have been dead. I would have been dead the next day if this was like 6 months ago.
How long after you feel the isometric when you start doing it? Was it like a couple of weeks you start to feel it?
Dude, my posture changed in a matter of, I don't want to exaggerate and say days, but days. I was waking up in the morning being like, oh my God, like I felt like I was walking. For me now to exaggerate my posture, like I have to almost bend up and look at the ceiling to feel the way I used to feel to just pull my shoulders back. Like it's crazy.
I want to get this guy's number.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I want to try it.
It's awesome. I will say it's the most effective thing I've ever done.
You have a dog?
I don't. I travel too much. I'm in out of town all the time, man.
You're just a loner, man.
I've got like
a loner, a rebel.
I think I've got like 20 flights between now and the end of May.
Good.
Actually, not even that. Maybe the end of April.
Are you going to Cleveland this weekend?
Cleveland, yeah.
I'll be in Cleveland.
Cleveland, Australia, New Zealand, Australia, Puerto Rico, Calgary. That's all between now and the end of April.
I need a nap just hearing that. Dude, this has been awesome. I could honestly,
it's been great, dude. I know.
I honestly
Hours
talk to you forever.
Enough.
I mean, I could sit here, but it's an hour is an hour. I don't like to do more than an hour, but maybe you'll come on another time.
We'll come back and do it again, man.
Yeah, this was really great. Long time coming.
I like talking life, man. I like talking life.
It was great, man. It makes me so happy that you have role models in your life and people that help make you who you are. And
very lucky. I'll say that just to touch the road to perdition thing. I got so lucky as a young kid in this business to work with guys like Hanks and Newman and everybody who ended up being like Jude Law, Daniel Craig, all these guys, and Mendez. Like to work with those guys, I never sensed an ego. Like I sensed an ego. I never sensed an unhealthy ego about anybody on set. The nicest dudes, the most humble guys, treated every PA as if they were the financier. Like just the greatest people. So I got super, super lucky to work with those guys at a young age to be like, that's how you do it. And like class act, total pros. And I appreciate that from that job more than anything else. I ran into Jude for the first time in like 22, 23 years at one of the cons the other day. First time I seen him like 22, 23 years. And I was like, we're sitting like having a conversation like eye to eye. And the last time I saw him, I was like down here on him. And it was crazy.
Wait, you worked with Paul Newman?
Yeah, Newman played my grandpa in that.
It's been so long.
Legend, dude. Greatest
Paul
dude.
Freaking Newman.
If
I would have done anything to meet Paul Newman. I would have had him sign my Slapshot poster.
Dude, he was the man. If I got a regret, it's that he invited us out to the racetrack every time he was in town. And I always had a baseball tournament, so we never went. That would have been so fun. I wish we would have gone and done that.
Well, dude, you're a great dude, and I wish
Thanks,
you only
man.
the
You too.
best, and you deserve it all. And I'm glad we got to know each other a little bit.
Same, buddy.
Thanks,
Same.
Thanks, Tyler. That was rad, bro. That was really good. I was surprised how I thought he'd be, not necessarily shy, but a little reserved in terms of like what he was going to say. But it didn't feel like he was holding back. No, it felt like what you see is what you get. And I really liked it. I really liked this interview. Yeah, one of my faves. So thanks, Tyler, for finally coming around, you son of a gun, you. All right, now we go to the top tier patrons. These are folks that support this podcast week in, week out, month in, month out, year after year. They've stuck around. They've stuck around with me for all these years, and this is why the podcast is afloat. This is why we do it. So thanks for allowing me to do what I love. And I feel like it's something I've gotten much better at, and it's because I've been doing it so long, and that's thanks to you guys for supporting me and believing in me. And sometimes you won't always know the guest, but I hope you listen, and I think you'll learn something like Ryan does, like I do. So if you want to join Patreon, it's a great community to talk about Smallville, talk about Superman, talk about whatever, but also supporting the show. There's lots of tiers, lots of fun, lots of packages I sent off. Personalized things to you, and I'm giving really cool things away because people have been here, some people over 5 years, so they get a special gift. Ryan, I got them a special gift. Yeah, I can't tell you what it is, I don't have to kill you, but here are the top tiers. These are the folks that just keep on giving. Nancy D, Little Lisa, Yukiko, Brian H, Niko P, Rob I, Jason W, Sophie M, Raj C, Jennifer N, Stacey L, Jamal F, Janelle B.
Mike. Just Mike. Eldon Supremo.
Yes.
99 more. Santiago M. Leanne P. Maddie S. Kendrick F. Belinda N.
Dave Hull. Brad D. Ray H. Tabitha T. Tom N. Talia M. Betsy D. Rhiannon C. Michelle A. Jeremy C. Mr. M. Eugene R. Monica T. Mel S. Eric H.
Amanda R. Kevin E. Jor L. Jammin J. Leanne J. Luna R. Jules M.
Jessica B. Kaylee J. Charlene A. Romeo the Band. Frank B. Jen T. April R. 99.5 WKDQ. Randy S. Claudia Rachel D. Nick W. Stephanie and Evan.
Charlene A.
Stefan. Charlene A, Don G, Jenny B76, Peyton C, NG Tracy, Keith B, Heather and Greg, Ellie K, Ben B, Pierre C, Sultan, Ingrid C, Dave T, Jeff G, Kareem H, and Brian B. Couldn't do this show without you. I love you all. From the Hollywood Hills in Hollywood, California, I'm Michael Rosenbaum.
I'm Ryan Tays. I'm here too.
Little wave to the camera. Please be good to yourself, and I'll see you soon. So thank you for being here.